welcome everybody. Yes. Boom, 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 boom. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TJ Warren TV. The 400 subscriber live Q&A and call-in show. Just want to welcome everybody that is already in the chat. Drew Gunner, I see you. Connor, I see you. Carl Rossi, I definitely see you. 420 sub special tomorrow. It could be today. If we get one more, it could be right now. If we could get one more subscriber. And I heard that Dow will make a special appearance if we get to 420, because that is, in fact, Dow's favorite number. I have it on good authority. That's all I can say about that. I'm not going to get into too many details. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Big up now. How are you, everybody? I know everybody and their mother is streaming right now. Old School Gunner is streaming right now. Drew Gunner is streaming right now. Tony Claude is streaming right now. But you know what? This was the only time I had today that was during the day that I could come on and say thank you to all 419 of the subscribers that help make this possible, help this channel grow. Help make this into what it has been and what it is going to be. I think that this is going to be one of the best, not only Arsenal channels, but football channels on YouTube. The vibes are immense. We have the best guests. We have the best chats. It's incredible. Yeah, see? True Gunner's a legend. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. I appreciate everybody tuning in, getting your questions. Let's talk for a little while. I'm telling you, like, I am absolutely gassed about the news that we saw today. It has been confirmed. David Raya from Brentford for $30 million. And if certain articles are to be believed, he will be signing for 5 years, potentially. 5 years. Providing the 1A, 1B that Aaron Ramsdale and Arsenal truly need. Ramsdale needs to be pushed. We need that 1A, 1B for the Champions League. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Big up Scott M. I saw that Spurs are actually doing a job against Barca with Kane out of the lineup. That is hilarious to me. That is absolutely hilarious to me. Superfans have multiple monitors to watch every player we're linked with. I have multiple monitors to watch the Real One streams. Exactly. This community is A1. It is unbelievable. So thank you very much, Carl Rossi, as usual, man. As usual. Yeah, so get in your thoughts about the David Raya signing. I think that it is a luxury, but it is a luxury that we can afford. And actually, it could prove to be a luxury that we actually need. We need this thing, guys. Like, if Ramsdale goes down, I gotta say, I love my American brother, Matt Turner, but I gotta say, I trust David Raya just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I think Raya is better than Ramsdale in terms of distribution shots, but I think Ramsdale is better distribution. I mean, he looked better. Ramsdale looked better against Man City. I thought he looked fine against Man City, and he actually stopped a PK, which is one of the biggest things that I gave him crap about. So we shall see, right? But, Raya doesn't have bad distribution either. I think if we look at the stats, his distribution is just fine too. So I don't know, man. We can go into the stats, or we can start answering questions coming from the chat. All the real ones are flying in. Exactly right. Let me see how many likes we have. Once we get to 20 likes, get us to 20 likes here, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to drop the link at 15 likes. At 15 likes, I'm going to drop the link. Anybody can come in. I see Jez is in here. I see, who else did I see in here that might want to come on? Steve-O is in here. Steve-O making his triumphant return, not only to America, but to YouTube. I mean, not America, to his hometown. He was in America. What am I talking about? Yeah, Steve is coming. And spoiler alert, he will be on American Idiots this weekend. So Big up Steve Makala every single time. We have real ones coming on American Idiots, by the way, this Friday. We got Steve. We got Brian Daigle from Tottenham on tour. I talked to Brian. He's going to come on. And then we obviously have the legend Jez from the Arsenal History and More coming on to kick off the season with us. But as you all know, guys, we have the center of the American Idiot show coming back. The central like game that we got, and that is the Premier League predictions show. The problem is that the season kicks off on Friday at 2:00 Central Time with who is it? Man City? Man City plays. So we're gonna need you to get your Man City predictions into the comments after this video is over. You need to give me your predictions for the Man City. I don't even remember who they're playing. Who cares? Let's look. Man City schedule. Who are they playing? 15 likes. Yep. I'm going to drop the chat here shortly. They're playing Burnley. Yeah, so drop your predictions for the Burnley Man City game, man. That is a rough game. They did that on purpose. Freaking Vincent Kompany has to come in against Pep. That's brutal. You know, it'll be an interesting game, though, but Man City is going to win that going away. Burnley's just going to get absolutely packed at home. Welcome back to the Premier League. 5-0 against Pep. Watch it happen. Watch it happen. We got 19 inside. Make sure you're smashing likes, subbing if you're new. We got one more sub until the magical 420 number. So if you can get me to that 420 number, that would be absolutely immense. Absolutely immense. Everybody, guess what? The doctor is in. Dr. Seymour Butts. I have it on good authority that he is also an American, but he shall remain nameless. His actual name shall remain nameless, but he will always be Dr. Seymour Butts in your minds and in your hearts. Man City is away to Burnley. Burnley will still get packed. I think Man City. I don't think we saw what the best of Man City on Sunday. I truly don't. I'm not getting overly gassed. Was I gassed about the Community Shield? Yes. Had I had a few drinks? Absolutely. But did it really matter? It was just nice to win something over Man City. I know. I wasn't taking it seriously. Was everybody in the chat really taking it seriously? Really? I don't think I was. I wasn't. Like after I woke up after an immense nap, I kind of came to the conclusion that I'm glad we won, but at the same time, can we do that in November? Can we do that, on a rainy night away to Burnley, Luton Town? Are we going to be able to provide consistent results that we weren't able to do last year? A lot of that remains to be seen because largely this team is the same. Declan Rice, Timber, great additions, but you're not going to be able to play them every game. We're going to have to play some of our depth, right? So it is what it is. It is what it is. We got 16 likes. Burnley with a shock win? Oh, man. Drew, I don't know about that. I really don't think so. I agree with Arsenal. Since 1987. I think Burnley scores first, but then Man City just come back. Holland brace minimum. Yeah. So make sure you're putting those comments in after the video as well, because I'm not going to go back and do it. We got 420 subs. Oh my God, light it up. I can't play reggae on here, otherwise I'm going to get copyrighted. But light it up. Absolutely incredible. This is now the 420 celebration. Dal, if you are out there, come on in, brother. I sent you the link. Get inside. Guys, I'm gassed. I'm really excited. It's the beginning of the Premier League. I just confirmed one of the best guests for the American Idiot Show in September. We are going to have such a lit guest list for the American Idiot Show in September. I cannot say accurately how excited I am for it. It is going to be incredible. Yeah, you know what? Drew Gunner, I have to keep working, guys, but Drew Gunner is taking my job for me. I can already tell. He's already got the spliffs going. We're not worried about it. Get up, stand up. I'm not going to do the whole thing. All right, let me get the link in the chat here. Let's just go ahead. Whoever wants to come on in, just come on in. Make sure rules though for any strangers coming in here, because I think it's all real ones for the most part. But yeah, must have a camera on. You must have a microphone. Otherwise, I'm not going to let you in because I don't need my channel getting demonetized before we even got off the ground because some dude decides to press his genitals to the camera on 2:45 Central Kansas City time. So the link is now in the chat. Anybody is allowed to come on. Anybody and everybody, as long as you have a camera, as long as you have a microphone, come on in and join me. Let's talk about it. Let's answer questions from the group. And which I'm not seeing a lot of questions here, guys. This is a live Q&A. We got 13 inside. Big up everybody inside, but shoot the questions in. Let's have a conversation here. No masturbating. Exactly. No masturbating. Like, come on. This isn't chat roulette. You guys remember chat roulette? Got a little dicey there. I don't know. That was like, oh God, how long ago was that? That was like 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Disgusting, bro. Disgusting. Yeah, but what are you guys looking forward to the most during the season? What are you guys looking forward to the most? I am looking forward to all of the Arsenal happy clappers getting a stark reality check when we do not come out of the gate flying. There's a lot of people saying, oh, we're going to get 12 points out of 15. Oh, we should get 15 out of 15 right away. I don't know about that. We've been Jekyll and Hyde. I've said this several times. We've been Jekyll and Hyde throughout the preseason. We are shaky up top. We still don't have a good answer. Kai Havertz is not the answer. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat against Man City. He had 2 great chances and couldn't get him over the line. So I am very, very apprehensive about getting too gassed about our performances right out of the gate. I really am. Let's see here. TJ, in my opinion, why don't we exchange Balogun 20 million for Barella from Inter? Let me look at Barella real quick. Barella. I know his name, but let me see. You go Barella. Yeah, I know him. Italy. Here's the thing, is that I knew once we hit 420 subs, you would magically appear as if a genie would come out of a lamp.
Yeah, because we're like rub the belly.
Big up, Dal. Congratulations, man. We did it. We got to 420. And as you know, we are locking up incredible guests one by one as we move along. But how are you doing, man? I know it's in the middle of the workday for both of us, so I appreciate you making time to talk crap with the real ones.
No, I appreciate the invite. Yeah, I just got a little busy at work today, a little lunch. So I'm here to hang out with everybody for a while. Big up the chat.
Yes.
Big up TJ. 400 subscribers, man, in 2.5 months, 3 months?
3. It was like we're on 4 now. We just hit 4. So
nice.
Not at all. 100 a month. I'll take 100 a month.
I'll take that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I came in at 420, huh? Magically.
Exactly. Exactly. I knew it was going to happen. Dal spawned in at 420 subs and he'll magically disappear once he hits. Don't do it, Dal. Don't do it. But yeah, no, this is an interesting question. Why don't we exchange Balogun for Barella?
Is that the latest? Barella's link?
It's an idea from Clock Orange, which I don't necessarily think is bad. It's just the problem is that I don't think we're going to get more than 35.
Barella's
Barella
mid, right?
Yeah. And I would think Barella is like worth more than that. He's class. I think Man City is in him too.
I think part of it is we haven't really got a real valuation yet for Balogun, right? We see that guy Højlund go to United for 70 mil with 9 goals, less games. You know, what do you evaluate Balogun at with finishing 4th in the French league with 22 plus goals, or 22, 23 goals total. You know, Galdino. That's right. So what Balogun at? What up, Mr. B? Good stream today with Connor. That was fantastic. I don't know. It's adding more to the midfield, you know. Again, it just pushes Emerald Smith Rowe right down the pecking order more and more and more. Yeah. You know, I kind of feel bad for him at the end too because we still brought Havertz in. I mean, is Havertz better than ESR in midfield? I don't know. But ESR can't really play striker, but he can play off a number 9, right? As a 10. But that's a whole different conversation. But I would rather go for a striker than Barella. Go get me Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I would actually take a swing on Lukaku as well. I mean, I know people don't rate him that much, and he's not the most mobile guy, but I think he's still available, and he hasn't signed to Juventus yet. I don't know, man. Lukaku's a tough one.
I know. Well, and here's another thing too, is that like we're pretty well set at midfield. I think right now what I'm a little worried about is just we need a true rock at center forward, and we just refuse to. I don't know what it is, but we just refuse to acknowledge that. And by we, I mean the top brass at Arsenal.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of the top strikers I think are gone. Like Marcus Thuram, I think is already gone. Jonathan David's still out there, but obviously there's no link, so I don't think we're really interested in him. And I'll say it for the 1,000th time, I really don't think we're getting Ivan Toney. And I see that Jaminho says that Lautaro's dusty. I don't see that, but I mean, Jaminho knows football as well as anybody. So
I don't watch enough Italian league to know. I honestly don't.
I only watched like the big guys like Inter, AC Milan, Juventus, Napoli. I watched quite a bit last year. I mean, I thought we were in for that Kulushev guy, that Kuluskovski guy, or whatever his name is, that number 77 for Napoli, or their winger. I thought we were linked to him for about 4 days, and then that died. Again, we haven't seen Gabriel Jesus play in a full season in the red and white yet. I mean, we were so interrupted by the World Cup that we haven't really seen him week in and week out. And I know we have obviously for quite a few of the games, but I just I don't know, man. I mean, people said Harry Kane, and there's no way Daniel Levy's selling Harry Kane to us. There's no way.
Oh, but it's fun. It's a fun talking point. I've heard that on so many streams. Like even today, people, would you take Harry Kane at Arsenal? Who wouldn't? But there's no way it's going to happen. So why even bother wasting the oxygen?
Right, and that's kind of the way I feel like about Toney too. I just don't think that Kane or Toney are going to come to the Arsenal. And I think BBB Dave is right. Thuram, I knew joined a club. I didn't know if it was Inter Milan or not, but I knew that he was already picked up. And that, hey, I still think there's a shout for Martinez, even though Jaminho disagrees. I still think he's a class player, Champions League finalist, World Cup winner. I don't think he had that much of an impression on the World Cup. I think he was probably a little off his game, but I think with Lautaro Martinez, his mobility, his goal scoring ability is a top player.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's see who else we got over here. Wasn't this one shut down? People were like saying, no.
Okay. He's worth close to 100 million. He's probably worth about 85 million.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well he would play in the Premier League anyway. I don't know how well he performed in the Premier League. He performs well in the Champions League against, middle-level European clubs, and did well, of course, in the Italian league, but Premier League's a different beast. And I think we need one more. We need a class winger, but I'm not going to spend $100 million on that guy.
Me neither. Lenny Moon is asking, are you going to do a match preview with Yeti? I'm going to try to do a match preview with Yeti and Jez. We just have to figure out when it's going to actually work. I am so locked and loaded with shows leading up to this other channels that I don't know. And speaking of other channels, I do have a show I need to talk about. Gun Down UK. Guys, if you do not know Gun Down UK, go and subscribe to him right now. The guy speaks absolute facts. He is holding this club's feet to the fire, and I don't think that he's getting a lot of the love that he deserves based on the content that he has out there. It's pretty good. So Gun Down, thank you so much for reaching out and asking me on there. I will be on tomorrow night, my friend. We will talk about holding Arteta accountable. Is this Arteta's last chance? I think it is. In my opinion, it should be, but whether or not it is, we shall see. But we'll talk about that over on Gun Down UK's channel tomorrow night, I believe at 9:30 UK.
Perfect.
Got it. No excuses, Arteta Part 2. Yes, thank you, Gun Down. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So go over there, subscribe to him, and we're gonna probably launch off on that one. We're excited about it. So yeah, I'll be all over the place, and I'll put where the shows are going to be on the community tab. We're going to be, like I said, especially Thursday, Friday, I'm going to be all over the place. So I'll post the schedule on there. But yeah, keep getting your questions in. I did pin the link to the top of the chat if you guys want to come on and talk with me and the one and only Oregon Guna. It's 420 and he appeared, people. I swear to God, I couldn't believe it.
That's pretty weird.
We got 44 inside, by the way, everybody. Smash the likes up. Smash the absolute lights out of the
If you got a mic and a camera, feel free to jump in.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, but we're in phase 4. I don't know. I don't care what phase we're in.
The winning phase.
We are in the winning phase of the project. We are in the winning phase, or we are in the let's rip it all down and start over phase. It's time to win. That is the new motto of Arsenal and my fan channel. It's time to win.
Yep. No more excuses for sure.
No more excuses.
If we don't win it this season, bro, he has to go. He absolutely has to go. I mean, how much we've spent? $750 million over the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons. I think. Yeah. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of money, and not to have anything really to show for it now, but a plate, you know. But
exactly. Well, no, and the thing that I was saying before you got on, Dallin, you were probably listening in, but I'm going to say it again.
A little bit.
I don't think we can expect these guys to be as consistent as we were last season. I think injury-wise, we got pretty lucky until the end. We got pretty lucky.
Right.
Champions League to contend with. We have both domestic competitions that we're probably not going to take seriously, and the Premier League. You know, it's one of those things where I get extremely worried that, you know, yes, we did make depth moves in the back line and in the midfield, but the striker position, man, it still worries me. Still worries me a ton.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and I still think that Jesus is obviously injury prone as well. You know, he's getting looked at right now for an injury that he got last season. He's getting a little repair done. You know, I think injuries are going to be a big deal, even though we have better depth. It's about playing those players appropriately and giving them each enough time, but not a super amount of time like Saka got, right, to where they burn out. So Arteta's got a real job on his hands this season. I'm still worried he doesn't know his first 11. Right, we need to go with the plate. Absolutely.
No, and
I don't think he knows his first 11 with 3 new players like that. It was nice to see the 3 new players, of course, play against City, right? Timber, Rice, and Havertz both started. I would be a little worried. Maybe I would start those 3. I don't know if I'd start Havertz necessarily, especially if Jesus is. Well, when does Jesus come back? Like after the 3rd, 4th week of the season? Because the 3rd week of the season we played United.
They said. I think they said 4 to 5 weeks.
So he's going to miss the United game.
With knee injuries, I mean, you got to be careful with that stuff. I mean, they're just saying, he had to get his knee drained, but how often are you going to need to get that done throughout the season now? Like they said, small procedure. What constitutes a small procedure?
Right, and that's
your wisdom teeth removed is a small procedure. You're going to see my teeth popped up for freaking 2 weeks. Like, right. Come on, we're talking about knees here, man. Like. You know,
that's where I'm still worried a little bit about Saliba's back as well, you know.
Exactly.
But Mr. B asked a good question. Nketiah is ahead of him because Nketiah was, I think, England's youngest goal scorer at one point or something like that. He has scored so many goals in the youth side that they thought he was going to be the next star. And Balogun, I think, in some eyes of ownership and management at Arsenal, feel like he probably just had a really good season. You know, I just don't think Balogun's getting his due, Mr. B, for what he did in France. He's obviously a better player than Nketiah, but he has to prove it in the Premier League. And until he gets a chance, Nketiah is going to be ahead of him.
100%.
Nketiah came with high praise. Like I said, I think he was at Chelsea first in their youth academy, and then came to Arsenal, and he was a top striker in the youth level. But he's kind of obviously faded away, and he's just not good enough for Arsenal. Now, if you want to take Eddie yourself and switch with Tony, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, Send them on down. Send them on down. Right. Brentford is doing great business for us, Mr. B. Great business.
I mean, we're going to take your keeper. We can take your striker too if you want. I mean,
I'll take him.
Might as well. Two with one stone. But I don't know. Maybe the Balogun stuff is just a game for us. Maybe we're just testing the market, testing the waters with Balogun to see what we get. And maybe he has every intention of, putting Balogun in the lineup. But I have a strange feeling that with Jesus injured, he's going to start Nketiah up front on Saturday. Or Saturday, yeah, I think we play Saturday. So,
Saturday noon. So that means early for us.
Yeah, well, I'll be, I'll be camping.
Oh, but, yeah. Forgetting about it.
Yeah, I'll be checking my messages. But, yeah, no, Mr. B's like, hell no, dude.
Yeah, no, dude, it's over. It's over, Mr. B. It's over. Thank you for the keeper, and we'll probably end up going in for Tony in the winter because we don't have a striker. Oh boy, this is a great question. I like these personal type questions. I really do. Do you want to take this one first, and then I'll take it?
Like after an Arsenal loss. Do you mean like the day after the game or like right after the loss? But I think
like after
the same after the loss at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, let's see. Day after a loss. There's a lot of like hitting the couch, right? I got a big couch watching TV. So after the game's over and we lose something, I kind of, God damn it! That's kind of my thing, And I smack my hand and I throw my phone on the couch, not on the floor, as I don't want to break it. But I literally like pound the fucking couch with my fist. My wife just goes, I know. The kids just look at me funny. And, a lot of the times, though, when we score or get scored against, and it's an early in the morning game here on the West Coast, it might be 6, 7 in the morning. Boys are sound asleep upstairs, and I'm just yelling like a freaking banshee. God damn it! When we score against, they're just like, yes! When we score, and I'm running around the house like a madman. But when it's a loss, man, my whole day's pretty much dead. I really just kind of watch the YouTube videos, watch people's reactions to what happened. Of course, like our man Lee Gunner, and I watch him interview Jez, and I watch all the fan cams for sure. I'll watch, Northside if Diesel jumps on, all the OGs, of course, Jez, but he's with Gunner, right? So I watch all that, Carl, and then I have a stiff drink. I just push the kids away from me, push the wife away. And I just get locked in my own little office cocoon here. No, for real. I'm trying to find something fun to do, but I definitely get irritated. I go over the game. I watch the highlights. I try to do my own rankings in my head. And I try to blame a player. I try to blame one player who cost us the game and one player that was really good. And then I watch TJ and I just get more irritated. And yeah, it's just it ruins my whole fucking weekend, to be honest. It really does. I get so pumped up like you guys do for these games, Friday evening, I'm just like ready.
Buzzing.
I'm just ready on Friday evening, and I'm ready to watch like right there on Friday night, to be honest.
That's why the American Idiot Show just ramps me up so much for this, going through all this and getting everything going. I mean, oh man. And now I get to spend this, like, we didn't come in until March of last year. So now I get to come in and experience the ups and downs of 38 straight weeks.
Right.
Or game weeks, I should say. International breaks in there. But yeah, to answer your question, Carl, I'm rough. Like, so before YouTube, I would just be angry and I would watch Lee and Jez and Kenny and their reaction until I got too depressed to keep watching, and then I would just try to go watch something else. But now I get rage, and I go on Delboy Stream, or I queue up something on mine, and I go out there and get all my anger out. So hopefully by the end of the day, I'm still pissed off, but I'm at least pacified. Like my wife will not come anywhere near me during a game.
Same here. She just
you wouldn't even come anywhere near the stream when we did the Barcelona watch along.
Oh, see, it depends in the morning. If the wife is up, doesn't have to work that weekend, and the game's like 8, 9 in the morning, around halftime, she'll come down and watch on the couch, and she'll just be on her phone and just put her head up whenever I'm yelling and screaming, But whenever the slow motion replays are on, and some other team scores a goal, she'll go, "What the fuck is he doing?" You know, so she gets into it too. She's Arsenal through and through, man. She's all this stuff she buys me, man. Like the flag, all like the hoodies and stuff, the hats. That's all her, man.
Yeah, I don't know if my wife is Arsenal through and through, but she will definitely go to Washington D.C.
Yeah,
and take the game in with
yeah.
me, wearing my Gabrielle Jesus shirt. Which, you know what,
She's a gooner. She's a gooner, man. She's a gooner lady.
yeah.
So I mean, my wife and I've been since we've been together watching football together since about 2004. So she's watched a lot. Yeah, like I mean, obviously I've been married 18 years, and since day one, I mean, I was following Arsenal before we were married. So it was like, here's what we're doing on Saturdays and Sundays when we first started living together, right?
Yeah.
And she was kind of like, okay, you're watching soccer. Don't say soccer ever. And so she doesn't call it that. She calls it football all the time. And when she says that, I know she's not talking about the Seahawks or the NFL or any of that shit. So, yeah, we've been literally watching football together since about 2004.
That is
a good idea right after the Invincibles.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like that's pretty much my day afterwards. And then you know, I try to wait until like 2:00 after I pour my stiff drink though. If it's a late game though and we're losing bad, no, it'll get tuned up around halftime.
When we started when we were living together 2004, 2005, there's a bar in Portland called the Horse Brass. It's an old English bar. And they would show games in the morning at 7, in the morning. They had a Scottish bartender, this guy named Arthur, and he was mumble a lot. He was just the meanest son of a bitch. He'd be like, hey, Arthur, can you wheel out? The game's going to be on in like 5 minutes. But God, you freaking game on in 5 minutes. You can wait, you son of a bitch. I can't do it. He basically called you an asshole and shit for being there so early in the morning. He hated the morning people because we always wanted breakfast and so forth. So and they would serve the English breakfast with the beans, the toast, the meat, the eggs, full English style pub, big screen TV. So I would have this breakfast while my wife would sit there at the table, read the paper at the time because our cell phones weren't, smartphones. So she'd just be looking at the newspaper or something while I'm running down this breakfast and the game would start. And then, so I'd eat all the breakfast and be full, but then the Newcastle beers came. So I would have like 6 Newcastle beers and literally an English breakfast on a Sunday morning at like 8:30 in the morning watching the fucking Arsenal game. And I was dead like all day Sunday. Like we'd get home, right, at like 10:30 in the morning. And I was literally dead for the rest of the day. Went to sleep, wouldn't move, couldn't do anything, wouldn't want to eat, wouldn't want to go out anywhere. And so finally she was just like, you cannot be drinking a 6-pack at 9:00 in the morning at the bar. Bro, our bar tab was like $50. She would have like the Bloody Mary, and I'd have literally like 5 or 6 fucking Newcastles and a big ass breakfast. And I would just sleep for the rest of the day on Sundays.
That actually sounds
so annoyed, but she understood it. She was cool with it. And if we lost, it was even worse because I'd just lay on the couch just being fucking miserable all day, and she'd keep bringing me water because I was so sick and drunk. Those were the good old days, man, before kids.
Oh, I love it. No, Sir Barkley says immediately after an Arsenal loss, I look for Rants and Bants League. I cannot watch Rants after Arsenal loss. I can't. No, because we live rent free in his head. I don't know what it is with him and expressions, man. They will not. Man. I understand expressions, but freaking, I can't watch Rants because he just it's nonstop with him. Like I guess he lives rent free in my head. Then I guess, huh? What's your goal? What's your most loud aggressive celebration to an Arsenal goal? Aggressive? I don't know about aggressive. I go crazy. Like I come down. I'm a loud clapper. So I'll like stand up and give an ovation. Like I'm not like throwing shit against the walls or that. What about you?
I've thrown some things against the wall when I've been upset. I mean, you and I played FIFA together one time, and you know how upset I got at that. And that wasn't even your fault. That was on like me just being mad at the game. No, but anyways, I jump up and clap and yell in the morning. And again, my kids and wife hate it when it's like 7:00 in the morning on a weekend. But Especially like last season. I just felt like every single goal was so important last season, right? I mean, just like this season is going to be, and like any normal season. But last season specifically, of course, I think I was just so caught up and tuned into what we were doing and being on top for so long. It's like missing a game was just going to be like it just wasn't going to happen. I think I literally missed 2 games last season because they were 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But then I would be up at like 7 to watch them, like 4:35, 6. So you give it 2 hours. So yeah, if I was up at 7 and awake and I knew we had a game that early in the morning, I would jump up and come downstairs and see if we won or lost. If we lost, then I wouldn't watch it, right? I wouldn't watch the whole thing. I'd watch clips of the goals. But if we won, then I'd sit there and watch the whole thing at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. There's just no way I'm getting up at 4:30 for Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, no, I
agree. It's let me down too many times, bro.
I mean,
getting up so early for a normal dross bullshit.
After Everton, man, like, and I guess I'm gonna watch every game because I have this, I pay for the StreamYard, so I might as well use it. So I go in and watch every game, except for the ones where I'm going to be out of town. Like I'm going to be out of town that weekend. I'm going to be in Chicago for a wedding gig. And you and Connor are gonna cover American Idiots for me. Thank you already. But yeah, I'll go back and watch every single game and do a match reaction to it, or I'll be listening to the radio, the Arsenal radio, internet radio, stuff, and I'll be losing my shit in public in front of random strangers. And they think I have some sort of mental issue. That's okay. Yeah, of course they did, Connor. It is the way of the Tottenham. Look, I was going to be super. Here's the thing: is I was going to look. Yeah, the last thing. Yeah, Deji and freaking One Touch just live right now too. Oh my God, he's going to get cooked. Yeah, no. So I was afraid, like Tottenham going up 2-1. I was afraid. I'm like, man, now I got to go on with Perchie. Now I got to go on with the guys at Tottenham away over the next couple of days, and my week just got a lot easier. Thank you very much, Barcelona. Really, really appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fun, free, Ange ball. And oh no, we got a special guy in the back.
Oh,
he's going to show us the doctor.
The doctor?
Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts?
Back. Give it up.
Hope he doesn't have his wang out or some shit.
No. He is a doctor. He's an actual doctor. You can see it. Give it up for Dr. Seymour Butts. Yes, the doctor is in. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me today.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Have there been a lot of cases today? Is the ER full?
Well, let me tell you. This entire summer has just been nothing but that, I'm afraid. And I was on call in the U.S. and during the preseason, I believe that I think we are setting ourselves up for failure to the extent that we may be, using last season as a benchmark, as it should be, but the club and ownership perhaps are not doing enough to really seal the deal, to really push us over the finish line. The same can be said as a missed opportunity in January when we should have signed Caicedo, and we completely botched that. And the Havertz, cannot explain Havertz whatsoever. Try to rationalize it, try to deliberate as to what in Sam Hill, someone like that could really be thinking of. So I think we're going to be in for a rough season. But with that being said, would love to be proven wrong. I mean, I think being an Arsenal fan over such a long period of time, seeing is believing, and until we see it, it's pretty hard to actually believe it.
Do you think so? So here's a question for you. Do you think? No. You know what? I want to ask a question. Here's the question. Now that we brought David Ray in, what is your rating of the transfer window out of 10? I really want to know, because Twitter just proved how delusional people are.
Calls it 11 out of 10 on Twitter.
How ignorant they are to the facts. So I want to ask the doctor, the proctologist, the man himself, what do you rate the transfer window out of 10 for Arsenal right now? Because it's not over. I got to say right now, because it's not over.
I'm trying to. I think I want to be as fair and as considerate as possible, right?
That's fine. It's your rating.
Because I do believe that Timber is a solid purchase. So and I certainly and I don't want to date back too much to last year, but Trossard has also proven to be a very solid buy. And and it's not to go without saying that we that we are not grateful for such a purchase. But with that being said, it was a second option. It was not our first primary target, and it was someone that we had went for instead of. And sometimes that scenario does work out in our favor, and sometimes it does not. The Havertz deal is really what's pissing me off.
Yeah. Right, because I see like the $65 million we could have put towards Caicedo. Like it's like we just pulled $65 million out of the air, and then Havertz signed for that a week later. Not to interrupt you, but right, it was a shock.
Good context.
Right, and I think to your point, Dal, even if we wanted to get an actual striker, for example, we have seen, or rather, we've all seen last year, including the French league, they have seen how well Balogun performs in that. There is not a greater opportunity to go over to PSG and say, we'll throw you, say, 90 mil. We'll throw you Balogun as well. Give us Mbappe. Again, just a hypothetical as far as like what the money could have been used towards, or just for the fact that there were so many positions, or rather, so many players that play in his position or the supposed position that Havertz is to play. There were so many players that were available on the market and are still available on the market for far less than what we paid for Havertz. I mean, what is so incomprehensible as far as why Arteta would put all that pressure on himself, taking such a gamble like that when there is just so much better available. I mean, like Maddison was available. He has a proven track record and was much cheaper. So so I would say overall, I don't want to say no more than a 6.
That is exactly what I said, but for different reasons. Havertz, it remains to be seen. Outlook, not great, but it remains to be seen still with Havertz. White's great signing. Everybody but is over the moon about a certain formerly Irish national team defensive man. Big up Kyle Walsh, by the way. I'll get this out real quick and then I'm going to talk to right to you. Obviously, Timber might get it up to a 6.5 if we don't do any more business, because he looks absolutely class. This guy is an absolute baller. I really, really hope that is that solid option in the left back position over a certain Ukrainian center midfielder who's left back. That's kind of my thought on that. I'm going to give it a 6 because we haven't moved the Deadwood out either, and we haven't gotten it. What is Samuel Akanji still doing at this club? What is Nuno Tavares still doing at this club? I don't care if he scored a PK. What is Fabio Vieira still doing at this club? There are several Deadwood players that we need to either loan out or move out. And I don't see us doing it. Kyle Walsh, Gunner. The man, the myth, the legend. It is only right that you come on for the 400 subscriber call-in show, man. It's good to see you. I was afraid you disappeared into the depths of the non-YouTube world, but I saw you come back the other day. How you doing?
I'm all good. Big up to you all, and big up to the 400 subscribers, TJ. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
an honor to be on the show, as always. And yeah, I'm doing a lot of moving houses and jobs and all the rest of it. Life gets in the way sometimes. But in the background, I'll be keeping a close eye on what's going on with our club, with the transfer window and all the rest of it. So, I put up a video the other day. You smell the sauce, and it's just my opinion. I think it's an absolute disgrace what's going on at our club. Why, like you just said, TJ, there's 7 or 8 players still involved in this squad that should have been shipped out a long time ago. Why is Eddie Nketiah still a striker for this club? Still getting £100,000 a week. It's embarrassing. I'm listening to a lot of people talking about Balogun coming over from the French league that he could be the answer. He's not the answer. We're talking about Arsenal Football Club winning the Premier League title. We are not going to win a league title with Balogun. Trust me. I will come back at the end of the season. I will tell you all what did I say on TJ 400 subscribers show before the season even started. This current squad of players that we have as we speak is winning nothing again this season. Now, I will support my team like I always have and always will. But I will speak the reality and I will speak the facts. Not going to do it. People are picking up on Sunday about winning the Charity Shield. We were diabolical in that second half.
We were.
Only for this whole new thing that's happening in football, where you're getting 100 minutes instead of 90 minutes of football. Trossard took a shot, deflected with the last shot of the game. And I've been screaming at the television, if you don't shoot, you're not going to score. And one of them listened to me, Trossard. And then when it goes into a penalty shootout, it's anybody's game after that. But I'm listening to lads think we're going to win the treble next season because of that game on Sunday. We were shocking. We were shocking. Let's get back to reality here. I'm watching players, first team players, not good enough. Why is Odegaard still captain of this club? Declan Rice. Good addition, don't get me wrong. He's a good player. Is he world class? No. Is he going to win us a Premier League or a Champions League? No. Kai Havertz. 65 million for that donkey. And I have respect for everybody's opinion. And a lot of people are saying that there's a player in him. Of course there's a player in him. But he hasn't got the heart. And if you don't have the heart, and you're we've seen this too many times, lads. Ozil, all the talent in the world, too timid. I want players to go out there and perform week in, week out. Not a fella that's going to show up today and not show up for another 8 or 9 games after. And Kai Havertz is exactly that type of player. And I don't want nowhere near the club. 65, I couldn't believe we signed. And then we're talking about Timber. Yes, Timber had a really good game the other day, and he showed potential, and I'm excited about it and delighted about it. Let's play it, let's hope that we have a player there, lads. But I'm looking around me, I'm looking at likes of Ben White. I'm looking at Ramsdale. I'm looking at Saka. Yeah, that's right. Saka. People are afraid to mention Saka's name. They think he's star boy. Saka hasn't kicked the ball for Arsenal for the last 4 months. Call him out when he stopped performing. Martinelli running down the channel like running himself into the ground. He's head down. He can't see nothing in front of him. Start performing. And we have to start Friday night. End of story. I don't want to see all this crap. No excuses this year. Players don't perform, out the door. Manager don't perform, out the door. Simple. It's not the Kroenkes anymore, lads. The Kroenkes have given the money. This is down to Arteta and the crew and the squad of players. Now this is. Now let's see how good they are. So that's all I have to say. As far as I'm concerned, transfer window so far, 5 out of 10.
That was a lot to digest there, Volcano.
I love that. I love that. Welcome back to the channel, Kyle. We missed you. We missed you so
Man,
bad.
wet off my brow from that one, bro.
We have to.
That's the whole team.
Unfortunately, in the game of football, players are overhyped. Yeah, they're overpriced, but that's just the way the football is at the moment. You can't blame Arteta. You can't blame anyone for that. That's just the way. Ridiculous prices for players, average players. Declan Rice now £105 million player, but that's not his fault. It's no one's fault. It's just the way the economy is at the moment.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that you have to be real about it. Like, this Declan Rice, lads, was playing for West Ham United. He's after going up a gear now going to Arsenal. It's a whole different level.
Right.
He's not going to come in there and start, running the show and dominate midfield straight away. So we have to give him time. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm not saying he's bad. He's a good player. But I'm talking about Arsenal winning Premier League titles. And as far as I'm concerned, they just don't have the players to do it. We have to have a 25-goal-a-season striker. We don't have a striker at the club.
Kyle.
And Kiki.
If we had the money and the player to give to PSG, would you bring Mbappe in right now?
Absolutely, but then I'm saying that he is a prick. So would you want that kind of attitude? Would you want that kind of attitude going around the club? We had that attitude with Ozil.
Hold on a second, if I may. Hold on a second, if I may.
But which striker is going to put us on that level?
Mbappe all day long, lads. If you had the money, buy the man. He's the best striker, probably one of the best players in world football. I was saying about the attitude that he has would stink the club over. But I wouldn't care once we lifted up a Premier League title. I wouldn't care what kind of attitude he has.
Just get rid of Martinelli and or Odegaard for him?
Absolutely.
Plus 100 mil?
Absolutely. Out the door.
What were you going to say, Doctor?
Yeah, I mean, I think there has to be something said for the fact that strikers naturally will have an ego.
Yeah.
That's just,
that's for sure.
Absolutely. Even Nicholas Bentner, believed he was the best striker in the world too. So I mean, I would say that is just collective of being a striker. You're always going to have that type of self-belief and that type of confidence in yourself that you can do anything. So I fear that even if we were to bring in a quality striker, I think they would just disappear under Mikel Arteta's tactics, really and truly. I mean, in the consideration, I'm sorry, there's a bit of an echo going on.
I think it's Kyle. I'm gonna mute you, Kyle. Go ahead.
I do apologize for that.
No, it's not you. Go.
So, I think it could be said that Aubameyang and Lacazette more or less had disappeared under Arteta when he had come in, and prior to that, under Emery, they were doing very well. And I think, if I recall correctly, under Wenger, Wenger as well, I think, they had a few, solid, good goal scoring seasons. But I feel that at least the center forward position is used more as a link up play for the wingers to really score the majority of the goals, as opposed to actually needing a center forward. With that being said, I still think we need one because, as we can see across time, there have always been, very proficient strikers, on title winning teams, even with respect to Leicester when they had one, Jamie Vardy was on fire that year.
Right.
I'm concerned that maybe the philosophy that the way that Mikel plays may not suit a 20 goal scoring striker.
It's a good point.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we saw, I think I mentioned the other day, we saw City change their tactics with Haaland up front. They put a lot more balls over the top last season than they did with ticky-tacky on the rug. So Haaland would have these balls to run. And I think you're right about the strikers, doctors, but it depends on what striker you want, right? Do you want a mobile striker who can just be around the box and a fox in the box and a poacher, or do you want one like Olivier Giroud who can just put his back to defenders and hold up the ball, like you said, have wingers inverted and come in, But I want one that does both, right? Jesus can hold the ball and play some tricky passes. He just can't finish that well. He's just not a fox in the box like we need. But then sometimes we don't need that, right? Sometimes we need the striker to be outside of the box holding up play. So it's I think when it comes to strikers, Arteta needs to find one that can do both. And I think those are a commodity, right? Because you either have a real fast striker like Mbappe, who's super mobile, super fast, can finish from anywhere on the pitch, basically. And then you have someone like Olivier Giroud or Haaland, who aren't as fast as Mbappe, but can hold the ball and have brute strength to push through the center backs. And I don't think there's a real striker out there that combines both right now. You know what I mean? They're either really strong or they're really fast. And we need somewhere, I think, for our squad, somewhere in the middle. And I don't think it's Eddie. I don't think it's Balogun. I don't think it's Jesus, right? So I think having a striker with those different skill sets depends on the style of play, right? We're not going to go to a free-flowing and then have the striker hold up play, right? We're not going to have a striker, that's super mobile and not get the ball to him as we play more inside the wings or give the ball more to our center or center mids, right? So I think Arteta may be kind of in purgatory a bit to make a decision on which way to go. Because if you make a wrong decision, right, then it all fucks up. So I think when it comes to strikers, we really need to do our diligence and find the right type, like you said, that matches Arteta's style. And I just don't think there's any out there right there on the market that match his style identically to what he wants.
I think the market.
That's why we're holding off a bit.
Yeah, the market just flat sucks right now. That's the big. That's
top strikers, yeah.
For top strikers, and that's what this club is calling out for. You're going to either pay 200 million or 100 million plus a wonderkind for Mbappe, which is not going to happen. You're not going to see that happen. And what have we seen with Arteta? He does not like huge egos in his club. He does not like it.
Right.
So you put together with the fact that he doesn't like big egos and the market for an actual striker, a striker that will get you 20 goals right now, absolutely does not exist for any less than 200 million. So it's one of those things where, the doctor is in, everybody. You have to just kind of take that into consideration. The one thing that I do not want to see is that if we are struggling to score when January comes, I want to see a striker through the door. I don't care if it's Ivan Toney. I don't care how big his I don't care if his ego won't even through the door in London Colney. Have him sign the contract outside if his head can't fit through the door. I don't care. Get a guy in here that could score goals, because we're going to be looking back at this, the 400 subscriber episode, the week before the season started, and we're going to say, what the fuck did we do? Oh, nothing? We did nothing when we had Nketiah out, or not Nketiah out, when we had Jesus out, and we had Nketiah as a backup, and we're playing freaking Nketiah and, I'm getting distracted now. And we're playing freaking Havertz in the 9. It's an issue, guys. It's an issue, and it's glaring. I can't believe it. Fucking Northside's here. Big up Northside every single time. Your stream earlier today was fire, bro. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. We got to get you on sometime. Anytime, brother. You just let me know. No, seriously, though. Getting back to that, though. If we do not do the business sometime this season, we are not getting anywhere near a title. I don't understand where all these people are getting these title hopes from. I'm saying second tops and a trophy. That is the most we can hope for. Go ahead, Kyle.
I saw something on Instagram there today. Going back to the Arsenal fan base, you had Robbie from AFTV, and I'm going to name names. You had Robbie's brother, you had Turkish, and you had Curtis. 4 of them sitting at a table, giving their opinions on what they want from Arsenal this season. The 4 of them said for the Premier League, they all said second place. They said latter stage of Champions League, maybe a semi-final for the FA Cup, maybe a semi-final for Carabao Cup. That's there for everyone to see. What kind of standard is that? That's AFTV. They have a huge influence on this Arsenal fan base. And that's what they're putting out. Because they fucking know that we ain't going to win nothing this season with the squad of players that we have. So once again, it's all PR coming from the top down. I'm sick and tired of it, lads. When do we need to, like, when do we start shouting to win Premier League titles or not? Or do we just keep going and going and going for the next 20 years without winning the league titles? Do we go another 30 years without winning the European Cup? Do you know what I mean? What's going on here? Now, I hear you there, teacher, talking there roughly there about the strikers and stuff like that. For me, growing up watching Arsenal Football Club win 5 titles, I was lucky enough to see him winning 5 titles.
Yeah.
1989, 91, 2002, 2004, and 1998 there as well. Missed out on the double one. But there you are. And now I'm listening to Big AFTV and also in second place. It's an achievement. We finished second place there last season. And I went berserk because I want number 1. But until the fan base attitude starts to change, this is acceptable. So Arteta can stay in his job for the next 20 years because there's going to be no accountability for failure. And this is failure. Year in, year out. But no, these boys looking for second place. It's embarrassing. And you're talking about the strikers, teacher. And I'm going back to it there about me seeing Arsenal winning league titles. I saw Arsenal win league titles because we had a spine in the team. And to win a league title, you have to have a spine. And I'm looking at our spine as we speak. And I see a lot of flaws in that spine. And I start with the goalkeeper. Ramsdale if I was a centre back for Arsenal, I would not be confident with this geezer behind me. This fetish, I hear there tonight that the Brentford goalkeeper is after agreeing verbal contract or verbal terms, personal terms, whatever. And that's a good thing because it might give Ramsdale the edge that he needs because it's all too simple for him at the moment. And in his play, even yesterday or Sunday in the Community Shield, he's fucking around with the ball. Now, I look at that. That's number 1 position in the spine. Now I'm looking at the 2 centre backs. And Saliba's a good player, lads. And Gabriel's a good player. Don't get me wrong, they're good players. But they're not great players. They're good. There's room for improvement on both of them. And then you look into the centre of midfield. Yeah, it's a lot better than Shaqiri and Partey. Now we have Rice and Partey, which is good. Well, it's going to take a bit of time, but it's good. But then I'm looking up at the striker. We wouldn't strike matches at the moment, lads. Let's get down to reality of it there. Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ, you wouldn't make one striker out of Ekitike, Balogun, and Havertz. Jesus, lads, good player, don't get me wrong, good player. But he's not a striker. So for me, looking at the balance of the spine, that's not a championship team, lads. It's not a championship team.
Yeah. No, I can see where you're coming from. Do you think that, and maybe this is a question for the panel because I know I have my opinion on it. Do you think, and let's start with the doctor and then go to down and go to Kyle. Do you think that Arteta will take the FA Cup seriously this season? We'll start with the doctor. Given the group that they have, it's a good question that needs to be asked. And are we going to hold them accountable if they don't?
So I think it certainly remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched this club for 2 decades now. And unfortunately, I started following Arsenal the year after they won the Invincibles, because timing's always impeccable with me. So, I've seen, I would say that squads, like from 2007 up until 13 or 14, I think they could still outplay the current, the current crop that we currently have. So I think I think if we do compete for the FA Cup, it'll be, because Arteta wants to, not because there is a burning desire to win silverware. I think that I think for the most part, our fan base has capitulated to just being a feel good type of, arena. Because that being said, Mikel should have left after the end of last summer, or rather, just a few months ago after the end of last season. I think there was even like an article last year just like a few months ago, that he had looked himself in the mirror and said, am I the right person for this job? And then after all of that, I guess self deliberation, he still came out and decided, yeah, I am the right person for this job. So so he truly believes that he's the right person for this job. But I'm not sure at this point if he's just deluding himself from experience. Does he really think that being 3 years at Pep's side, suddenly grants him, some innate understanding of how to be a manager, or let alone how to manage a team on multiple fronts?
Yeah, anybody who has to stand in front of the mirror and have that conversation with themselves, I'm just kind of like, okay, so you're not really sure of yourself then. And now you're telling a room full of, if I saw my coach come out and say, hey, I'm not sure if I should be, I'm not sure I'm the guy, I'd be like, what did I just sign 5 years for? Yeah, I saw that story. I completely forgot about that. What?
You're asking a rhetorical question that pretty much people already know the answer to. At least people that have watched Arsenal long enough and have standards as far as winning silverware. It is it seemed so. It's just truly. Pardon my French, but the shit that we see and deal with in this club is you could not write it. You could not write it. You could not see it on Broadway. Because
TJ.
Writes itself.
Arteta is a very good actor. I would question myself daily if I was the manager of Arsenal, because it is a massive job, and it takes a real motivational person, right? And if I'm a player, do I really look at Arteta and say, I really want to go in and fight for this guy? With Sir Alex Ferguson or something, there's just something about his demeanor and aura that makes you go out there and perform, right? And I think Jose has that as well. And who else? I guess those two, really. Maybe somebody like Fabio Capello or Carlo Ancelotti, right? Allegri. But I kind of agree with you, Doctor. It's like if he's second guessing himself, then I'm worried about the guesses that he's making out for subs during a game, right? Is he putting out subs and then going, oh shit, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh crap, right? And I think we saw that a few times. We definitely saw it against Liverpool. He didn't know who the hell to bring in for ESR, and he brought in Kiwior, and that we all know how that went. God, that's a good question.
Right, but I think you bring up a good point in that, so we understand, he's a young manager. He's learning on the job. We've been told that the first 2 or 3 years, right?
Right.
But at a certain point in time, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, when do you start actually learning from your mistakes? When do you actually turn the corner and change? Because
right.
because I could easily make an argument that the mistakes that he was making in his first 3 years as a manager, his first full 3 seasons as a manager, they've just been repetitive. It's been the same theme, right. and it's still the same type of poor game management that will lose games in the title race. We saw that.
You could argue, and several people can argue, that his decisions were the beginning and the end of our title charge. You know what I mean? And let me ask Tony, and then I'm going to throw it back over to the volcano real quick. TJ, would TJ cast Arteta in one of his plays? It would have to be probably the most depressing musical you could ever watch or
Been there.
It's probably like Schindler's List,
Yeah, the musical version of Schindler's List, or the musical, no, Titanic.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Kyle, go for it, man.
Yeah, no, this dude is in the management now for 4 years there at Arsenal Football Club. If he hasn't learned by now, he never learned. He made massive mistakes in the last 2 years. For the one there where he blew it there for the Champions League spots, he made massive mistakes. Again, last year he did the same thing. And here we go again. Community Shield there Sunday. I saw Arteta making substitutions that left me scratching my head. When is this man going to learn? He's not going to learn. He's not good enough for this level of football. Oh, the people may wake up. And we're right, Oregon. If I was a football player for Arsenal and Arteta came in, I laugh at him. I said, fuck off, you fear. I laugh at him. And what did he ever do anyway? In his football career as well. And now all of a sudden he's coming in and he thinks he can just... I'll give you your answer about the FA Cup. We won't be competing for the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup because Arteta's too cocky for that. He's too arrogant for that. He thinks that he's good enough to win the Premier League and the Champions League. Look at the way he threw all his eggs in the one basket to win the Premier League last year. What happened? Nothing. Everybody celebrating second place. I am celebrating second place.
Ooh.
This is his year. He gonna do it this year. He better fuck off out of my club. And if not, the fan base want to all come together if we care for the club and protest to make a change and get him up. But let me tell you something here tonight. We are winning nothing again this season. I will support my team. I'm going over. I got tickets. I'm going over for the Man United game. I'll shout the boys on. But I'm read enough to understand not to expect anything at the end of it. That's the truth. Arteta is not going to change. He's still making the same mistakes. He was doing it only the other day in the Community Shield. This is a man, by the way, that looked at himself in the mirror like the doctor just said and asked himself the question, is he good enough to manage Arsenal Football Club? And then comes out and talks about it. So what's the squad of players thinking? And then on top of that, he turns around and says only last week that I still need to see where I can put Kai Havertz in the system. A week before the Premier League kicks off and he doesn't know where to put players. Are you joking me?
Right.
And then we all think that we're going to win the league title.
Yeah. 1 second, Kyle.
Chris.
1 second. Yeah, it is crazy. We're going to go for probably about 24 minutes, but Dal we hit 421 subscribers. And of course, now Dal is going back into his magical bottle, hearing the genius return to the bottle. But Dal, again, thank you so much for everything. Shout yourself out. Obviously, this channel wouldn't be what it is without you. So appreciate it.
Give me a shout out Oregon Good on YouTube and infamous_Dal on IG. And big up to the chat. Big up Dr. Seymour Butts. Thank you for joining us for the first time on camera. You're more than welcome to join us on just about every show we get on when we have the link up. Please don't be shy. And Mr. Volcano, thank you, Kyle. Big up again. And everyone in the chat, of course, the OGs and the real ones. I got some more shit I got to do for corporate America, so I got to get going. But I love y'all, and we're going to go get this thing on Saturday, and I'll see you guys soon, okay?
Nice and Oregon. Good man.
Cheers, child. Cheers, Doc. See you, TJ. Thanks again.
Later.
You guys have a good one.
He's gonna be camping in the trees while the Arsenal are playing Nottingham Forest. So it is. I'm gonna be the flying solo on American Idiot this weekend, but
a lot of drugs and alcohol and rock and roll.
Sounds awful.
I'll see you guys. Cheers.
See you later, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's an enigma wrapped in a mystery, with this guy sometimes and how he conducts himself. He could be, in my eyes, during a lot of that Amazon Prime documentary, I saw somebody that could actually properly motivate people. And then I saw somebody who absolutely just would sit on the bench with a 1,000-yard stare on his face and not know what to do next. So if I see that this season, and I see us not win any major honors. He has to go, man. He has to go. Like it's one of those things where, are we big Arsenal? Like, we have to ask ourselves, and the fan base has to ask ourselves, are we big Arsenal? We chased the club legend that we just built a statue outside of the Emirates out for less.
I just like to say something there, TJ, about that. Yeah, absolutely. Build a statue there of Arsene Wenger. Great thing to see, and he deserved it. But this again is Arsenal Football Club. Why is there not a statue of George Graham outside the Emirates Stadium? You have the 3 greatest Arsenal managers of all time: Herbert Chapman, statue outside the Emirates; Wenger, outside the Emirates. Why is George Graham? In my eyes and in my opinion, George Graham is the greatest Arsenal manager that has ever lived. 9 years at Arsenal Football Club. 2 league titles. Had to go to the Almighty. I saw the game. I was there. So I saw it, not the stadium. I was there at that point as a fan. And we had to go to Anfield to beat the giants of Liverpool Football Club. And Liverpool Football Club were dominating football then. And we had to beat them 2-0. And we went to beat them 2-0. George Graham did that. Then in 91, we won the league title. 1 game away from being invincible, by the way. Chelsea beat us 2-1 when Tony Adams was in jail. Apart from that game, we went the whole season undefeated. We won a domestic cup double in 93. We won a Cup Winners' Cup, a European competition, in 94. In 9 years. Wenger won 3 Premier League titles in 22 years. So why is there not a statue of George Graham? But once again, there's the fan base, because he went to Spurs. I don't give a fuck who he went to. He's the best Arsenal manager that ever lived. End of story. But that's the Arsenal club again, in a nutshell. Just don't care. Don't care about the history. They don't care about, all they care about is selling jerseys. PR, PR, PR. With Ian Wright, Ray Parlour, and all these. I love to call my name, but I'm not going to call my name. They were great players back in the day. They let themselves down to sold their soul for money. The crap that they come out about this club is absolutely embarrassing. Martin Keown, all them fellas. I'd be expecting a lot more from them. They've let me down. But that's it, TJ. You know, there should be a statue of George Graham.
I mean, I agree with you. And this comment, like, maybe, but if it is, like, how fucking childish is that? Like, you know, if you get fired from a club and say you get fired from, I don't know, like Budweiser, are you going to, and Coors comes and offers you a job, are you going to turn that down? Like, give me a break. You're trying to put food on the tables for your families. You're trying to advance a career in a field that you love. And so a competitor comes by and you're gonna turn that down. Like that.
Yeah,
that's
but teacher, it's like what the question is there. He went to the Spuds. He went to the Spuds. Yeah, he went to the Spuds. I'm talking about George Graham as Arsenal manager in what he done at Arsenal.
People, for what he did at Arsenal, he absolutely deserves a trophy. I'm not arguing that. But some people in this clapped fan base will say that because you went to Spurs, you know, completely ignoring the history of other large pieces of Arsenal history that are also tied to Tottenham, by the way. They're just gonna say, oh well, he went to Spurs, so I don't care if he doesn't get a trophy. I don't care. Yeah.
Take that. George Graham.
Right? Do your fucking research. Excuse my language. I'm done cussing now.
There was a few envelopes passed along there, teacher. And I think it was about Jan Jensen, the sign of Jan Jensen. Something about that. And seemingly he was told he took money and all this kind of stuff back then at that precise time. And listen, do you honestly think he's the only manager who's ever taken a few envelopes? It's still going on in world football as we speak. It was just that George Graham was stoned that time. And I can only imagine if he wasn't done, what he would have done with Arsenal. He would have done a whole lot more. But the fan base doesn't understand that, he said. They just say, oh no, he went to Spuds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to add here, Doctor?
I mean, I think Carl's comment there really capitalizes on what I was going to say. You know, a lot of this fan base, and I think it's part of it is a vicious circle to a degree. You know, a lot of this fan base have recently have begun to support Arsenal in the last 5-6 years, and they saw us when we were really at not a great time, shall we say? You know, like, I mean, like, we were really seeing like the tail end of Wenger's delusional years. I mean, years that he was probably maybe 3 or 4 years expired by that point. Probably should have left definitely should have left after we blew the title race in 15-16, losing it to Leicester, but she should have left definitely after 2013-14, because that was another season that we had thrown the title away. I mean, it was basically a carbon copy of last year. In 2013-14, we were top of the league. I mean, we were on impervious form, and on February 1st, 2014, we threw it away at Anfield, lost 5-1, and that was the end of, and that was, you know, all she wrote that season. So, you know, like, so now they see Arteta, you know, come in, this you know, sexy looking manager, you know, because you know that's so important. You know, he sees, you know, they see this, you know, like, charming looking fellow that's now in charge of their club, that has now taken them from the depths of the last years of Wenger and the Emery years, and, you know, up to this point. They see maybe some type of progression, and they're, you know, trying to, you know, hold on to that, as if that is success. It certainly is progression, but it's not where this club is supposed to be at.
Yeah.
It's you know, like, so I mean, like, so with last year, I would certainly state, you know, thank you very much, Mikel, for bringing us back to 2013-14. You know, like, now we've made some progress, but we're still behind where we should be. And because these fans are relatively new to our fan base, which is fine, that's great. You know, like, we certainly want a larger fan base, but with that being said, there also needs to be a greater cognizance and appreciation for our history, especially from our progression since, like, the Graham and Wenger era, because like in the 60s and 70s, I think we were also fairly not so great. So, you know, I mean, like, I think Jez had mentioned it once, you know, that this club has sometimes gone through hills and valleys as far as form, you know, like, over the decades. But I mean, like, we went invincible, for crying out loud. I mean, like, that was supposed to be pretty much like the turning corner of our peak. You know, like, you know, like, we were supposed to use that as the benchmark and as the foundation for really elevating us to the next level of being that world class brand, not only in playing style, but also just as a football club. And you know what they say, at least in the US, they say, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? What I still don't get to this day is why we, you know, I mean, like, we went invincible. We should, you know, like, we should really, I mean, I still understand why we do all these. I mean, I understand that formation changes over time. I understand, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know, like, tactics change over time as well. But, you know, like, we've seen that playing with 2 6s and I guess, attacking midfielder, if you will, like, right ahead of them, it provides that balance. So, I mean, you know, like, I mean, Arteta wants to play all these, like, tactical games because, you know, because he has that encyclopedia of tactics from Pep that he learned, you know, like, during his time as an assistant manager. It doesn't work. Like, I mean, like, I feel that he either needs to have, like, his own philosophy, or again, just use something that actually, you know, has worked previously. I mean, like we even saw City kind of playing in a 4-4-2 formation during the Community Shield. I mean, like, are we to say that he's like going to be using that moving forward? Because I think that Haaland and Alvarez were playing side by side, but I think to your original point, I think our fan base just don't really either care or just don't really appreciate where we have been. They see this as like marginal success, but I think that will change this year. I think the expectations are, especially after last year, they're going to demand a lot more, and I think if they don't perform in the first 10 games, I think there's going to be a lot of questions to be asked.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. 100%. All right, guys, I got to start wrapping up because I got to go back to work, to be 100% honest with you. Big up everybody in the chat. Ravi, I've starred your chats, and I'm gonna ask them on the American Idiot Show. I've started them and screenshotted them, so I'm gonna ask them on the American Idiot Show on Friday. Tune in on the American Idiot Show on Friday. We got Jez, we got Brian Daigle from Tottenham on tour, and we got Steve Makela making his triumphant return to the show. That's Friday night, 9 p.m. UK time. I just want to say thank you to Dow, thank you to Connor for helping me grow this channel into what it is. Thank you to Jez. I can name names until the cows come home. But thank you to all the real ones in the chat for helping get us to 400 subscribers. I'm going to have Kyle shout himself out, and then obviously the doctor before we get the heck out of here. Again, thank you so much. Oh crap! Hold on. Let me unmute you. No, I just muted you again. Hold on. Go.
TJ, big up to you, man, for having me on the show. Brilliant as always. Big up to Doctor. Big up to Oregon and all the chat. James Collins, I see there, and Carl Rossi and all the usual suspects. All brilliant, all legends. So big up to you all. Get me on Kai Watch Gunner. I posted a video there the other day. Not that happy about the situation, but that's just me. We'll continue on this journey throughout the season, hopping on the shows. I'll be doing a few live streams myself. TJ, Doctor, everyone is all invited onto us, and we'll see how we go. Am I optimistic? No, but let's hope the Gunners proves me wrong.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and thanks again, Kyle. Kyle, aka the first guest with Jez on the American Idiot Show, by the way. That will always be. I'm never going to go back and watch it though, Kyle, because I'm too embarrassed.
You're brilliant, TJ. You're brilliant.
But he was the first guest on the American Idiot Show. I'll never forget that. Much love, Kyle, every single time.
Big up, TJ. Pleasure.
The doctor making his. This isn't your first. Is this your first time on YouTube, or is it just your first time? What is it?
I think it's definitely my first time doing anything on the internet like this. So thank you for popping the cherry, big fellow.
Well done, Doctor. Brilliant.
You definitely held your own better than I did when the first time I was on a show. I remember going on Jez's show for the first time and shitting bricks. I was so nervous. But yeah, you did a great job. The doctor, anytime the doctor creates his own office, aka his own channel, you let me know. We will go live anytime, man. Anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome. We talk on Instagram, so just hit me up anytime, man. Really, really appreciate it.
And I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak. And shout out to the to the great chat and that's been following along the stream. As I said, seeing is believing to be an Arsenal fan. So, just gotta smile through all the pain.
Smile, drink, yell. I haven't reached the crying phase yet, but we'll see if they push me over the edge. Yeah. So big up the doctor every single time. Jez, I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame you. The majority of YouTube is going to continue to blame you for me being on YouTube. So you just got to take the L, my man. You just got to take the L. Until next time, everybody, I will post the schedule on the community tab for what channels I'm going to be on when. But the next show on this channel will be the American Idiot Show, Friday, 9 o'clock, the usual time. So until then, Big up, everybody. We will see you next time.